Welcome back to Unstoppable Living, the podcast where high-achieving women stop performing and come home to themselves. I'm your host, Juli Miezejeski, and this is episode 2. So pour your coffee, take a breath, and settle in. Last Sunday, I promised we'd go deeper into the very first thing that keeps high-achieving women stuck. And I sat with that promise all week, waiting to see what would come through. What kept rising up quietly, insistently, was one word: patience. Or more accurately, the lack of it. Because here's the truth I want to name today for high-achieving women. Impatience isn't a personality quirk. It's a way of life. It's the engine we've been running on for decades. And it might just be the very thing keeping us from the life we actually want. Let me tell you what I mean. I was the woman who could get things done fast, efficiently, ahead of schedule. That was my brand. In my career, at home, in my friendships, everywhere. If something needed to happen, I made it happen. And I was rewarded for it over and over again for nearly 3 decades. But when I began the inner work, the real work of coming home to myself, I hit a wall I didn't expect. Because you can't hustle your way into self-trust. You can't optimize your way into intuition. You can't push through a nervous system that's asking you to slow down. And I tried. Oh, I tried. I remember one morning sitting with my journal, feeling deeply frustrated that I wasn't further along. In my own transformation, I actually caught myself thinking, why is this taking so long? Why can't I figure this out? And in that moment, I heard something quieter underneath the frustration whisper back, because you're finally doing something real. Because this really matters. That was the day I understood that impatience was my superpower. It was my saboteur. Here's what I want you to understand about impatience. Because this is one of those things that hides in plain sight. Impatience feels productive. It feels like ambition. It feels like drive for high-achieving women. It's often been praised our entire lives. But underneath, impatience is almost always fear wearing a business suit. Fear that if we slow down, we'll fall behind. Fear that if we stop pushing, everything that we've built will crumble. Fear that if we don't force the outcome, it won't happen at all. And here's what impatience costs us. Quietly, cumulatively, over decades. It costs us presence because we're always 3 steps ahead of where we actually are. It costs us intuition because intuition speaks in whispers and impatience only listens to shouting. It costs us joy because joy lives in the moment we just rush through. And it costs us the deep transformation we say we want, because the inner work, the real work of coming home to yourself, cannot be forced, optimized, or scheduled. It unfolds in its own sacred timing. Patience, on the other hand, is not passive. Let me be really clear about that. Patience is not sitting still, waiting for life to happen to you. Patience is the disciplined trust that says, I am doing the work, I am showing up, and I am willing to let it unfold at the pace it needs to unfold. Patience is what allows the nervous system to soften. It's what allows intuition to show up. It's what allows genuine transformation to take root instead of just another performance of transformation. For the high-achieving woman, patience is a radical act. It's a reclamation. It's the moment you stop treating your own evolution like a project to complete and start treating it like a life to live. Quick note before we go further. If what you're exploring is landing for you, this is exactly the work I do with women one-on-one and in small group programs. Stick around to the end, and I'll tell you how to connect. So here's your reflection question for this week. And I'd invite you to sit with it, not solve it. Where in your life is impatience running the show? And what might become possible if you gave that place a little more time? Maybe it's your career transition. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your own healing. Maybe it's a decision you keep trying to force into clarity. Just notice. Don't fix. Notice. And if you feel called, place a hand on your heart this week, even once, and whisper, I am willing to let this unfold at the pace it needs to unfold, and see what happens. Here's where we land today. The very first thing that keeps high-achieving women stuck is the belief that they should already be further along than they are. That belief is fueled by impatience, and impatience keeps us performing our evolution instead of actually living it. Your action step this week is simple. Catch yourself one time in a moment of impatience, and instead of pushing through it, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what if this is exactly where I'm meant to be right now? That's it. One moment, one breath, one question. Next Sunday, we'll talk about what happens when you finally stop chasing and start listening. Because there's a voice inside you that has been waiting a very long time to be heard. Thank you for being here for episode 2 of Unstoppable Living. It means a lot to me. If something in this episode landed for you, I'd love for you to do 3 small things. Subscribe so you never miss an Unstoppable Sunday. Leave a review to help other high-achieving women find this show. And head over to lifecoachingwithjulie.com to explore my coaching programs, grab my book Stuck, Unstuck, Unstoppable, and join our community of women coming home to themselves. Until next Sunday, take good care of yourself and trust that the woman you're becoming is already on her way.